Hi everybody, Matt back with you. Hope you're okay. Well, the red brick behind me gives it away that today I'm back in Rochdale town centre. And today I've come to look at a building that holds a great deal of interest to me because of what it was once used for. We're going to go and find the old cargo studios, which in the 1970s and early 80s saw some of the biggest new wave bands come through its doors and record there. Who knew such activity went on in Rochdale? Let's see if we can find the studio. So, do you have a favourite era of music? I often think the music from your own youth is probably the music you would always choose that era. Some people don't like music at all, apologies if that's the case. So for me, early 90s, kind of early Oasis stuff is what I would often pick as my favourite. But I've had music in my life forever, and even though in the 70s I was only in single figures, very early single figures at that, I had a brother who was 8 years older than me, and we would just get records and singles into the house and listen to them over and over again from kind of the late 70s onwards. So even at 2 or 3 I remember music, very early memories there. And in that time period it was quite an exciting point, because in the 70s it was lots of disco and glam rock, and things changed at the end of the 70s. Punk started coming in and some indie new wave bands, and those are the bands that ended up coming to a building here in Rochdale. So just down these back streets of Rochdale we find a street called Kenion Street, and back in the 1960s there was a building here that was called Tractor Records. And in the 1970s, it changed what it was doing. It became a recording studio on the top floor, and on the bottom floor they built PA systems and bass systems. And about 1977, 1978, a certain band came to that top floor to record there. You might have heard of them. This rather unassuming looking building behind me is the former Cargo Studios. Now exactly what it is today I'm not sure. It was initially a warehouse. Yeah, in the 70s it wouldn't have been, or even into the 80s, you would have seen people walking in here like The Fall, Marty Smith, OMD, Teardrop Explodes. And after Cargo Studios, Peter Hook from Joy Division and New Order then kind of took it over, and he ran it as a studio as well. I'm not sure quite how long it lasted as a studio, but what it's been since. However, it is remembered and celebrated by a blue plaque that is on it today and some artwork. So thankfully it's not a place that's lost to time. As you can probably tell, they are currently putting up a lot of scaffolding on a building next to it. You won't hear me if I speak from there, so instead I'll just film and show you what's here. The studio in this building changed the face of music. Through that door and up the stairs to the top floor was Cargo Studios, set up in 1977. And a great number of new wave bands that were around at the time came to the studios to record here, or to use the equipment. In 1978, coming to the studio was TV and radio presenter, nightclub manager and record label producer Tony Wilson. And he brought with him a band that he had recently signed to his label, called Joy Division. The band, led by lead singer Ian Curtis, recorded songs here, perhaps most famously the song Atmosphere. Although not a hugely successful single release when it came out in March 1980, 45 years ago, it is still regarded as one of the best goth songs ever made. In the downstairs section, they built PA systems and bass systems, and whilst Joy Division were there, this took the attention of Peter Hook from the band, who would go on to form New Order with the rest of Joy Division after Ian Curtis passed away. And in 1984, Peter took over the studio, changed its name from Cargo to Sweet 16, and the bands kept rolling in to record. Amongst those many bands who recorded here is like a who's who of popular music and new wave music at the time. So these included Mark E. Smith and The Fall, Orchestral Manouveres in the Dark, Teardrop Explodes, later on Happy Mondays, and the Charlatans. And alongside the bands that were famous came bands who tried to make their mark as well, local bands recording their music inside the studio. In more recent times, the studio did appear in the film about Tony Wilson, 24-Hour Party People, with Steve Coogan playing Mr. Wilson. And Rochdale itself recognised the importance of the building and gave it a blue plaque, so you can see for yourself what has been there in the past. It's funny how people can react to you when you've got a camera. Anyway, that is the building, and yeah, I've learned something today. So it was Sweet 16, which was Peter Hook's recording studio till 2001, and it looks like today it is a recording studio again, if you can hear me at all. I think they're deliberately being noisy because I've got a camera. But a fascinating piece of history right here on the back streets of Rochdale that you might not have known about. So we'll leave it at that, just a short one today. We're back on schedule soon, hopefully. But yeah, maybe you didn't know about that, maybe you did. What is your favourite era of music? Let me know. Let me know your favourite bands or singers, or if you hate music altogether. Either way is fine with me. So it's getting very wobbly and windy. We will see you for the next video very soon. Check out the website on the studio itself for hundreds of pictures and information on there of who's gone through those famous doors. We'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Before we sign off altogether though, just take a look at this photo, because on the left is the studio. The people in the picture are actually The Fall, the band, and the building right in the centre at the back, you might be able to make out, there is a car park just next to it. Those cars are where another house once stood that was owned by another Rochdale music legend, one of the biggest stars of the 1930s, Gracie Fields. And today, of course, Gracie's statue stands outside the town hall in Rochdale Centre. So after this video, if you want to go on the Gracie Fields Rochdale tour, you can do. Put the link in the description for this video, as well as when we went to find the grave of Joy Division's Ian Curtis in Macclesfield.